For those of you with Zoom, can everyone see that? And can everyone hear me?
I can hear you.
A bunch of nods for yes, I'm assuming. Okay, well, then I'm going to get started, hoping everyone can hear. Again, my name is Ken Posman, and I am the program coordinator for Lifespan's Home Safe Home program. The idea today is to give you a little idea of what the program is, its history, what it's all about, what its goal is, how we work, and to maybe share some tips for you folks to make the home environment a little bit safer for those that live there. So that is a real old photograph of the very first brochure of the Home Safe Home program. I'll tell you a little bit of the history. The couple on the right are the parents of the gentleman that started the program over 20 years ago. It's been in existence for over 20 years. And those are the parents of Mike Gow. He's the man that started the program back in 1998. And the program just keeps growing year over year. The record number of homes, it seems to increase every year, as does the boundaries for which we cover it. It started off just in Monroe County. It's expanded to Livingston County. And now this year we've expanded to Ontario County. So it just keeps growing. I am the only employee of Lifespan. Mike stops in from time to help out, but we have a nice van that's got Lifespan all over it. So we drive all over these 3 counties and we do what we can do to try to help folks. Mike likes to tell a story that when he started it over 22 years ago, his daughter at the time was just learning to drive and she just got her permit. And he started it out of the family station wagon, and she was always mortified to drive to school with tub seats and commodes and things like that in the back of the family station wagon. So but now we've got a nice van with all of our equipment nicely stored inside. These are some stats that we share with folks every time I do one of these presentations, and they're not, you know, they're scary, but they're meant to just illustrate how prevalent falls in the older adult community can be and how devastating they can be. You think about that, every 11 seconds, someone is treated in the ER for a fall, and how much it seems to be increasing, nearly twice as many as a decade earlier. And the medical costs are staggering, you know, as far as a fall inside the home, $50 billion, expected to double by 2030. So, and 60% of these falls occur inside the home. And that's where our program really focuses. As you saw by that stat, that those costs are going to double in 15 years. This little slide kind of illustrates that. For the first time ever back in 2015, the older adults, for the first time in history, more than 21% of people in Monroe County were residents over 60. So that kind of shows from the previous slide and the one coming up, the growth of that program year after year after year. We just keep getting more and more of these calls to see if we can help. The bottom row of this is really the important one. You can see how the number of homes just keeps going up. 2019, it did drop some, and the only reason for that was the city of Rochester is one of our funders. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But the city of Rochester provided funds for us that were supposed to last a year, And we were through with those funds in the first 3 months of that contract because of the need was so great. And we had to stop. We couldn't continue because there was no funding to keep us going. And again, these are some of the funds. Our funding typically is geographic in nature. City of Rochester does for their residents, Town of Greece, Town of Arundecoit. Outside of that, in Monroe County, it's Monroe County broadly. Livingston County and Ontario County both have new contracts with us. Livingston County through Noise Health, and Ontario County this year through the Office for the Aging. Those are some other, so this is really a snapshot of who we typically see. The program is there for anyone that's 60 years or of age or older, or anyone younger than that with a disability. We're allowed to see. The highest percentage of those are white females between 75 and 84 years old with the income of $15,000 and $25,000. And for the most part, for 99%, our program is free. There's no charge for our services, thanks to those funders. So the objective of the program is really pretty simple. We try to target falls prevention inside the home. Like the slide said earlier, 60% of those falls occur inside the home. And we want to try to help older adults stay in their home as long as possible and as safely as possible. And by doing, minor home modifications, and I'll say a little bit more about minor modifications a little bit later as to what we can do and what we can't do. So I looked up, just out of curiosity once, the term home modification, and the definition really was right with what we do, to help meet the needs of people with physical limitations so they can live independently and safely in their own homes. Something as simple as removing a throw rug to help a slip or a fall is a little thing, but it's a big cause for falls, slips, and things of that nature. I once went into a home where there was a little throw rug just inside the doorway. It was on a linoleum surface, and right directly in front of it was an open stairwell to the basement, and up to the right of it was a one step up to the kitchen. And when the woman answered, there was a little throw rug on the floor on the linoleum, and when the woman answered the door, she answered the door with her shoulder in a big harness and a cast and something like a traction-like device. She told me to come on in, and when I opened the door and stepped on that throw rug, it slipped out from, I could feel it slide. And I mentioned to her, I said, boy, this, before I even come into the house, this is really slippery and it's dangerous. And she looked at me and she said, I know. And she pointed to her shoulder and said, that's how I did this. But yet she still hadn't removed the throw rug from that area that caused her to slip and hurt her shoulder. Even after I told her that she was fortunate that she didn't go head first down the open cellar basement stairway. It could have been a lot worse than just her shoulder. So something as simple as that can make such a huge difference. And oftentimes it just takes a third-party view of something to point it out to people. They get so used to being in their own homes, they don't really even think about it. So, how does it work? How do people hear about the program? Well, they hear about it through little presentations like this, but primarily a lot of the home health agencies, particularly in Monroe County, and now even spreading through Ontario and Livingston, home health agencies, visiting nurses, PTs, occupational therapists, people that are providing in-home services to people are well aware of the program, and they'll go in to offer some type of therapy and make suggestions that they should call to see if, you know, we can't help them as far as falls prevention in the home. And one of the bigger ones really is word of mouth. You know, family, friends, and neighbors. Neighbors will see something and ask, you know, where did you get that? Or that really is a big one. I went into a home a number of years ago, and when I opened the door, the woman said, before I even had a chance to say much of anything, she said, I don't care what you do, but you're going to put a grab bar in my kitchen doorway out to the garage. And I said, sure, we can do that. You know, what, come to find out in talking with her that her next door neighbor had fallen in that same scenario, going out to her car in the garage and laid on the garage floor for hours before someone realized that she was out there. So that word of mouth from neighbor really does help spread the program. So, you know, once these referrals come into our New York Connects office line, it's part of Lifespan, and they will ask a series of questions and try to get the need or the cause and get some demographic information, obviously name, address, and phone number, and all of that's placed in with a client's consent, the New York Connects system. And that system not only allows us to come out and do what we do, but it also puts you in touch with, can put you in touch with all sorts of resources within that New York Connects branch for other services that may be of help. So they will get that information. It's a secure network. I log on and see it and get the individual files from people. And typically, well, this is a little different this year because of COVID, but even still, there's generally between 40 and 50 in the queue waiting for service. So there really has not been a time in the 7 years I've done this that there is no one waiting for us to come out. So we'll call and schedule, and I try to schedule things, you know, within a given area, so I'm not rolling all over 3 counties on any one given day. So, you know, I try to clump things together as close as possible. And we come out in a van that's fully equipped with all of the equipment that we have. So it's done in one visit. So we come out, we take a look, and we do the work that same day. It's just too much to try to come to every house twice. So, you know, we often come with everything that we always come with everything we need. Every once in a while, we may run out on any given day, but in that case, we'll have to come back. But typically, where are the big risk areas? Obviously, you know, the first one is the bathroom. That is of primary focus. It's wet, there's water, it's slippery. Anyone can fall in the bathroom. What can we do? We can provide things like grab bars to, you know, mounted, drilled into the wall and the surround. While I'm thinking about that, we always advise, and if anyone there is using the suction type grab bars, we would advise to take them down right away. They're just not reliable. They're just not safe. I tell everybody they work great until they don't, and you just don't know when that's going to be. I've had people tell me they've heard them just fall off in the middle of the night and hit the bottom of the tub. And the one story that I tell everybody that I see that has them is of a gentleman that was a veteran, and the VA, well-intended, gave him some, and he stuck them on the side of his tub. And one day when he went to use it to get himself out of the tub, it popped off in his hands, and he fell out of the tub, you know, across the toilet, and he broke 4 of his ribs. So, and I had bruised ribs years ago, and every breath hurts. And, you know, I walked around with a pillow to my chest thinking that if I had to sneeze or cough. So I can't imagine what he must have been feeling like with 4 broken ribs. So I said to him, I said, you know, I'm gonna tell your story to everybody I see that has these grab bars like this, these suction cup grab bars. But kind of joked and said, listen, I won't give him your name, address, and phone number. And he looked at me and he said, you know what, if it's going to stop people from going through what I'm going through right now, he said, feel free to give them my name and phone number and have them call me and I will verify your story. So those things, a pet peeve, we take them down. And the grab bars that we can put in, we screw them in, they're securely mounted. What else in the bathroom can we provide? Tub seats, tub transfer bench, something that you can sit down on the outside of the tub and then swing your legs over and slide into the tub. A tub grip, which is a little handle-like clamp that clamps onto the side of your tub. That again is another anchor point for someone to hang on to get in and out of the tub. A shower head, a handheld shower head that's on a hose. You know, that someone can sit on that bench and use that instead of it just the regular shower head that's, you know, spraying water down on your face. And a lot of these items, you know, a lot of these items help the caregiver as well as the care receiver, you know, because it makes it, if someone's bathing someone, it makes it so much easier if you can do it with a shower head and direct where the water's going and spray it away at times when you need to. So even the grab bars sometimes help people help getting someone else into the tub or the shower. Benches for the toilet, we can offer commodes, we can offer raised toilet seats with handles. Makes it easier getting up and down. We can offer grab bars near the toilet to help people get up and down, you know, from the toilet. Again, they're securely mounted and drilled into the wall. So they're going to be safe. They're not, again, they're not the suction cup types of grab bars that you may see. Stairways, you know, another big concern. Going down to the basement, going up to the second floor, coming in, you know, from the garage. If there's little 2 or 3 steps, a lot of times there's 2 or 3 steps that come in. Are there railings there? Are there railings on both sides? Are they secure? I mean, oftentimes, I mean, there's a railing on one side, and if someone has one side that's compromised for whatever reason, then either going up or going down, there isn't a railing on the strong side if they're not on both sides. Oftentimes we'll check and people say, yes, we have them, but there's a bracket that's broken or there are screws that are pulling out of the wall because people have been using them for years and they're starting to get a little loose. They're starting to be a little give in them. So we try to tighten those up as best as we can or put new ones on. And again, the entry doorways. I mentioned the story about the garage. Oftentimes, there's a difference in elevation between the garage and the house, a foundation issue maybe, and it's a big step to come up from the garage into the house. We can put grab bars there to help with that, you know, to help, you know, people navigate that step and feel a little bit more secure in doing so. You know, I mentioned the bathroom safety items, other things like tub mats, something to put on the bottom of the tub to keep it so people don't slip, you know, if they're standing, you know, in the tub to help get in and out. There's something else in the bathroom. We have toilet rail systems, we have commodes, we have raised toilet seats. One of the 3 of those is going to help. They all provide handles for someone to help get up and down. The bed rail, we have a bed rail. It's a device that's not intended to prevent people from falling out of bed, like the hospital bed you would see, or the whole side falls down. This is just a little device that slides between the box spring and mattress and provides a little handle to help people get in and out of bed. You know, oftentimes there's a little end table. I can't tell you how many times I see a little three-legged end table that's on the side of the bed with a lamp on it, and people use that to try to help navigate in and out of bed, and it often ends up on the floor with everything on it. Other recommendations as we walk through the house, we're always looking for clutter or cords or cables or things that are going across doorways. One of my personal pet peeves are things on the stairs. You know, everybody does it. I do it. I admit it. You know, you put something on the stairs and you think I'm going to take it up the next time I go up or take it down to the basement. But you know, you open a basement door and, you know, on the back of the door, there's mops and there's brooms, and I can't tell you how many times there is a railing there, but on the railing, there's 2 or 3 Wegmans bags that are hooked over the edge of it, and there are cans to be returned hanging on that bag. There's paint cans on the stairs. There's all sorts of debris that it's clutter, and it's cause for concern because it doesn't take much to trip over it. So as we walk through the house, you know, we take a look for these things and try to make recommendation, encourage people to, you know, to move them, to pick them up, to at least make a clear pathway. Is the pathway from the bedroom to the bathroom clear? You know, is it lit? Is there a night light? You wake up at 2:30 in the morning and someone's got to go to the bathroom, and if there's clutter there, again, it's an easy area where someone's going to trip and fall. We can provide night lights if they're not there. We like to use the ones that are motion activated, or even better yet, our little flat ones that are always on. They're just a little glow. In the daylight, you can't even see them, but at nighttime, there's enough to just give enough of a light to so people can see the path in front of them. You know, obviously there are some things that we don't do. Again, the function of the program is to look for falls prevention in the home. We're not electricians or plumbers or roofers. We can't provide ramps. That is something that's well beyond the scope and actually the budget for our program. And it's also, there are town building codes involved with that, as far as outdoor ramps, as far as building permits to put them in. Power stair lifts, something else we can't provide. We do, however, have a list of people that we often leave, if that's what they're interested in, to call. A couple different options for people to call and get different ideas and pricing and things on ramps and chairlifts. Some of the 2 biggest items that we're asked that we just can't do. Tile work and masonry work we can't do. Again, it's a funding issue. If the bathroom has ceramic tile, we can't drill in it. We do have a local source in Monroe County that will do it for us. We can provide, or if a client knows someone, a neighbor that can do it, we can provide the grab bars in that case free of charge, and then they can have someone put them in. So, you know, we're not a private contractor. We're a independent, not-for-profit agency that gets funds to help with falls prevention, and we try to use that funding and serve as many people as we can. And quite frankly, the need far outpaces the funds that we get to do the program. So we're limited, but a lot of the things that we do, they're small, but they're very important. So, you know, we go through all that, and we always ask for, I want to go back a little bit to some of the things we don't provide, and some other things that might be, you know, generalized tips for folks, you know, for caregivers and folks with Alzheimer's or dementia, some things that may be, you know, a little bit different than just someone coming home from rehab, but there are some tips and things, you know, to look out for. And I believe you will be getting a list of these, or you can request a list of this. I think Mara has a home safety checklist that she may mail out after this class. But things, little things that can be done as far as hazardous items, including cleaning products, medications, matches, sharp instruments, tools, anything like that should be locked up and out of reach, so it's not accidentally gotten into. And along with that, you should have the local poison control number readily available in case, by the phone, in case something were ingested. It's a quick call. The phone, that number is right there. Carbon monoxide detectors, smoke alarms, those we can provide. And you hear a lot about changing the batteries every year with daylight savings times. Well, the new ones, and you should check to see if you have them, the new ones are sealed units, and the batteries are good for 10 years. So you don't need to go through twice a year and make sure that the batteries are up to date. If they're not, if you do have a battery operated one, they should beep when they're going bad. And I can't tell you the number of homes I'm in. As soon as I walk in, I hear that little chirp almost every 30 seconds. And surprisingly, the people that have them don't know what that is. I don't, what is that chirp? I don't know what it is. So we can replace the batteries, but the new units, you don't have to worry about that. They're good for 10 years. You put them up and that's it. We always make sure you write the date that it was installed so you'll know. But that's something else that can be done. We talked about the trip hazards. We talked about throw rugs and extension cords and clutter. Throw rugs are tough. I told you the one story. People are attached to their throw rugs. I mean, they really are. They don't want to get rid of them. I've seen throw rugs on top of rugs because it's a heavy walkway and the main rug is dirty. So they want to cover it up and put a throw rug over the top of it. But getting your foot caught on it, if someone's using a walker that gets wadded up in front of the walker, we strongly advise that those are removed. Lighting is another thing that is important, like we mentioned. Things like stickers at eye level on a glass door, just to make a visual difference so people can see it, is something that can easily be done. I walked by it the other day in Lowe's, a whole bin with colored duct tape of all different colors that you can put right at eye level just to make a visual reference point for people. We also suggest at times that people put that on stairways, on that last stair. If the stair is, like if it's a wooden staircase and it matches the floor, that visual difference is not there. It's hard to see. So you can put some of that tape right on the edge of the step just to differentiate that from the floor. It just gives a visual clue. Locks and latches on doorways. It's suggested sometimes that on interior doors that you remove the locks so someone doesn't inadvertently lock themselves in the bathroom or another room. Outside doors, put a deadbolt or a latch, up high or down low, so it can't be seen, to prevent someone from opening an outside door and wandering outside. Sometimes too, you'll see they're plastic caps that snap over the doorknob, and it makes it much harder to turn. They kind of spin around on the doorknob. You really have to squeeze them together to turn to open the door. Things like that help. Right? And so somebody just can't open the door and wander outside. Firearms, if people have them, they should be locked in a cabinet or removed from the home. Again, just to avoid any potential catastrophe. And I don't know if people have them, but I know the medical alert buttons for someone to push in the event that they fall. There's a number of providers for those. If you get AARP magazine, you'll probably see 4 or 5 different brands listed. I prefer a local place for those. I know in Livingston County, Noise Health has them. I know in Monroe County, and I think they serve areas outside Monroe County. Someone like the Doyle security people have them as well. And the reason that I like those are because they're local and they know the people that answer the phone are local. They know the area. Some of the national brands in the AARP magazine, the person answering the phone could very well be in Las Vegas or New Jersey or someplace, and they're really not. They don't know the area, and oftentimes, as soon as it rings, their first response is to dispatch an ambulance, which, first thought you think that's great, but if you don't need an ambulance, you don't need an ambulance. And oftentimes there's a cost associated with an ambulance coming to the door. So someone like Doyle, I know for a fact, there's a triage person on the other end of the phone that will ask questions. Do you need an ambulance? We can dispatch one right away. Now, obviously, if they can't form that communication or that link, they will call a first responder immediately to come to the house. But again, just that local, and they'll come out and set it up. Again, some of the national brands, they'll ship it to you in a box and say, here you go, good luck. So it's kind of like the buy local thing. There's more familiarity with it. They know the area and they'll come out and help you walk through it all. So again, we will walk through a house after going through 900 to 1,000 a year. You tend to take a look, and you can tend to see where the trouble spots are. You get in the habit of looking. You can see even on a wall where someone might be grabbing. You can see fingerprints, and it's a pretty good indication of where something may be needed to help just move about the house, and making it a little safer, make people feel more comfortable moving about the home, and making the caregiver's job easier as well. We say this a lot to folks because as the caregiver, if something happens to you, then there's a problem. So oftentimes the things we put in are there, and they benefit both the caregiver and the care receiver. So we always ask for information. We always like to hear back from folks when we get done, is no matter what we did, do they think it helped? There's a little questionnaire, yes, no, maybe. We like to measure, we're all about the metrics, and we'd like to see, if the program has been successful. And you can see, if you can see that screen, that 98% of the people that we see are satisfied with the service and feel safer in their home, and 99% of them would recommend our service to others. So that's really the barometer that we go by, that I go by, to make sure that we're doing the right thing and people feel safer in their own homes based on the things we do. Now, there may be some of you folks listening in today that are outside of our service range. Monroe, Livingston, Ontario County. Suggestion would be to contact your Office for the Aging, perhaps, to see if they know of potential services that are similar, or where you might find some of these things. Some of the bathroom equipment, like benches and seats and things, oftentimes are found at loan closets, or even sometimes fire departments and ambulance department have things that are donated that people can avail themselves to. So the local county office for the aging might be a good start if you fall outside of the 3 counties that we currently serve. And again, some of the programs responses, people write in with that little thing, on behalf of my parents and myself. Again, someone taking care of their parents, very thankful and helpful for the service. Again, they're not, it's not major construction to the home. Generally, I would say probably in a home, depending on how much needs to be done. If it's a simple matter of a seat or a bench in the tub, it takes us 10 minutes. If there's a couple railings upstairs and a couple railings downstairs and 3 or 4 grab bars in the bathroom and some in the garage, obviously that's going to take us a little longer. So, but again, we do it on the same day. If we're there longer than an hour and a half or so, it's unusual because typically there are 2 of us. Unfortunately, right now, one of them is a volunteer that works with me, but because of the pandemic, volunteers can't go out just yet. It's put a whole different flavor on what we do. I'm working in a mask all the time now in homes. We ask people that are in the home to have a mask on, we're there. So we want to keep everybody as safe as we can and still be able to get in the house and help them out. So it's a little bit about some of the things that we do and how we do it, some little general tips, and I think that would be it. Again, this is just that summary of those scary stats that we saw earlier. And for those of you in that range in those 3 counties, that New York Connects, that's the number that you can call to get some information. And it's a great number to have. I mean, it's not just for the program that I'm responsible for. There are a number of programs and services that they might be able to. So I think if you have any question related to aging or older adults or caregiving, that would be a good resource number to call and start with. And if they don't have an answer, they can point you to someone that might. So with that, are there any questions about what we do or how we do it or how we might be able to help?
Any questions at this time? I did get one separately. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
That's okay. This is Kim.
Thank you.
My question is it income-based
Yes.
or not income-based?
Yes, it is income-based. For 99+% of the people we do, it's a free service. I think the income limit is $39,000 for one. If an individual one is the income is under $39,000, it's free. If it's over that, we still can do it. What we generally do is we charge a flat $30 installation fee, regardless of what we do. And then we charge our cost for the supplies. Now, I buy these supplies in bulk, so I get them a lot, fairly inexpensively because we buy so many of them. We have associations set up with Medline and Drive Medical, so we buy the supplies through them. So they're inexpensive. Grab bars buy so many of them. I think they're $11 up, depending on the size, up to 20. So, but again, the vast majority, by far, this is a free service. And we can.
Okay, you said $39,000 for one. If there's 2 people in the household,
there's 2 people in the house. It goes up by 5,000. I think it's 44.
Okay.
Something like that. Right. If both have an income. Again, it's the general guideline, and that will be asked when you call into that New York Connects number. But again, the vast majority, by far, it's a free service. I didn't mention, and I should have, that it doesn't matter if you own your home or you own an apartment. We can do apartments as well. Oftentimes there's some concern with landlords about installations, and that runs the gamut. I mean, I've had landlords and building property maintenance people be upset that I'm even in the house, to others that want to follow around and see what we do so they could offer the same service for their tenants. But the fact is, you know, by law, if it's deemed medically necessary by a physician, the landlord has to allow for minor modifications inside your apartment. Now they do, you know, technically have the right, should you leave, to ask you to return the apartment to the shape it was in before. Now, so that scares some people that, you know, there's grab bars drilled into the wall, and if you pull them out, there's going to be holes there. But I have never known that to be the case. I mean, once they're in, they help anybody that's there. There are a lot of items that we can provide that you can take with you. There are a lot of items that do absolutely no damage to the apartment. So that will be helpful. So there's things that we can do, and a landlord shouldn't have any concern over it. And again, there are things that you could take with you should you move.
Great, thank you. And then got another question privately to me. Do you have any advice for a senior who has trouble standing up from a seated position? Any devices?
They do have, not that we provide, but I have seen them. They do have, I don't know how to best describe it, but it's something that goes like right in front of a chair that, I mean, I've seen fancy ones with actually magazine racks on the side, and they have handles in the front. So you can kind of, almost like a dinner tray type of thing that you'd pull in front of you, but it has handles on the front and it goes down to the floor, and you can use that to help get up from the chair. Now they also have much more expensive option are the recliners that raise you up. You know, they're motorized and they raise up from the back. You may have seen those advertised. They can be pricey. If people have walkers, particularly walkers that have brakes on them, you can use that in front of the chair but make sure that the brakes are locked as you pull yourself up so it doesn't push out in front of you. Those are a couple ideas that you might want to look into.
All right, thank you. And then I had another question. Do you install HIG door locks? I don't know if that's meant to be high door locks or if there's something different, HIG, that I don't know about.
In either case, the answer to that would be no. Door locks, you know, again, the purpose of the program is falls prevention. So a door lock, while we suggest it in the tips and things as far as making things a little more secure, is not something that we can provide or install. Again, it's all just in an effort to stretch the funding dollars we have. So our services is kind of narrowly focused on falls prevention. And again, inside the home. I mean, someone will ask, can you put a railing along my sidewalk from my house out to the mailbox? And again, unfortunately, we can't do that. So, so the answer there is no.
Okay, thank you. If it's all right, do you mind if I share my screen real quick and I'll just show people the checklist that I'm gonna send in the email?
Sure.
So we have 2 checklists that we're gonna send you. And it's related more specifically. I know some people who are with us today are family caregivers, some aren't, some are caring for someone with dementia, some aren't, but there are some very helpful checklists One is from the Alzheimer's Association, and the other is from the National Institute of Health, National Institute on Aging. And both have just very handy checklists that general home safety tips, and then for each section, when it comes, to caring for someone with memory loss, when someone has memory loss, there are lots of changes happening, whether it's for vision or hearing. So there can be little tricks that can just be super helpful. So you'll see some there listed. Some of the things that Ken mentioned are also very helpful. Like he mentioned those stickers or tape. Like having contrast on steps can be really helpful, or having contrast on a toilet seat, like having a red or orange toilet seat can make it easier for people to see, and there can be less bathroom-related falls. So we'll email you this list along with the National Institute on Aging list, and you'll have that as resources as well in my follow-up email with the survey, which I'll send the link to you all right now, and just kind of last call to other people have additional questions. Okay. So I will.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
This is Kim. I'm Rensselaer County Department of the Aging and New York Connects to Rensselaer County. Is there any option of coming to Rensselaer County at some point in time, or no?
I'm sorry, what county was that?
Rensselaer County.
Rensselaer County?
Yeah.
Yeah, by Albany.
Yes, by
Right.
Albany.
I used to live in Albany, actually.
Did you?
I did, yes, years ago.
Okay.
Right now, no. Number one, well, there's two big reasons. Number one is funding. There's no funding currently available. Number two, if there were, I'm it. I'm the only person in West Bend that does that.
I gotcha.
And we have one van, and we just couldn't drive from here to Rensselaer County to do this, unfortunately. So, and actually,
Okay.
I kind of groaned when it spread from, it was Monroe and Livingston, then it grew to Ontario, and there was kind of a groan when I heard that. So it's like, oh, okay, but again, maybe the Office for the Aging there might have some suggestions for you.
We may have, well, like I said, I am Aging and New York Connect, so I'm going to look into, I know we have some programs similar,
Okay, good.
but this is good. I'm training because I'm relatively new. I was new in January, but by March we were smack dab in the COVID. So there hasn't been a lot of training.
Yes.
So this is part of it. So this was great. Thank you.
A tough time to start, that's for sure. So.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us today. I'm just going to share my screen one last time with just our wrap up. So if you found this program informative, please consider making a gift to Lifespan. There are a few different ways to do that as shown on the screen, online, via phone, calling us at 585-244-8400, Venmo, or via mail. We appreciate you joining us, and we know that it's not doable for everyone right now to make a donation, but if it is, we just ask if people would consider that. So thank you for that consideration, especially during such a difficult time. So thank you all for coming. We hope you'll join us in future weeks. Here's a list of some of the upcoming caregiver education and wellness webinars next week, next Tuesday at 2 o'clock. We have Don't Overthink It. On our website, you can find more of our caregiver webinars that are offered through my department, but a lot of our different departments at Lifespan are offering a lot of different great programming. So please take a look at our website, and we hope to be seeing you around soon. And then the last thing is your feedback is very important to us. I appreciate your patience at the beginning with my technology being wonky. So thank you for your patience. Any and all feedback is important. I sent it in the chat, so if you just want to go hop on that link now and fill out the survey, you can. But as I mentioned, I'm sending you a follow-up survey, and in that has the link as well. So thank you. Thank you so much, Ken, for your great presentation.
Thank you,
And
Laura.
we hope that you all have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.